先週、じいちゃんから LINE が来た。がんだって。もう80超えるからこんなこともあるだろうとパパは言うけど、それでも太平洋を挟んだ無力さは重い。
I called her ba, which is the Vietnamese word for grandma, and ba was 4 feet 8 inches and probably 150 pounds. She really enjoyed watching SBTN, which is a TV channel for Vietnamese Americans. She enjoyed pacing back and forth on her deck in New Jersey, and she spent most of her days praying to the Buddhist shrine in her room, watching TV, or talking on the phone with all of her sisters. And when I was a kid, I was often too scared to fall asleep. So she would sit beside me in bed and mutter her prayers out loud. And I never knew the meaning of those prayers, and I still don't really know their meanings. But even today, when I sleep, they get stuck in my head.
みずきお姉さん、今日は日本では5月5日です。お誕生日おめでとうございます。楽しんでください。
おめでとうね。よし。
よかったよかった。うまいとこ取れてればいいけど。
大体の人が山かだよね、きっと。どうだろう。
I see my grandparents as a protector of my Japanese identity because me, my brother, and my parents immigrated to the US in 2010. So we don't really have much tie to Japan anymore other than my grandparents. So when I heard news about my grandfather, it was really, really sad. I don't know. I was born in Japan, and I consider myself very Japanese, but it does feel like every year that passes, the older my grandparents get, the less Japanese I speak, the less Japanese I become.
Bad, why aren't you using a fork?
I'm pretty sure that God exists, because 6 days before Ba died, she was going on her yearly trip to Vietnam, and the night before she left, I gave her a hug because I knew I wasn't going to see her in the morning because she was going to have a super early flight. And I told her I loved her, and she told me she loved me, and that was really about where our deep shared vocabulary ended, there wasn't really much more to say, but the hug like sort of spoke for itself. But all of a sudden, I found myself getting super emotional, and I was like really confused why I was feeling that way. And then I saw her, and then she was crying. Then so she went to Vietnam, and then 6 days later, she actually died. She apparently woke up at 4 a.m. She said that her heart was racing. She said that to my aunt. So she turned on the light and she started doing her makeup, which she always did every morning because she didn't like people to see her without her makeup. And then once she was done, she laid down and she started hyperventilating. And so my aunt called Vietnam's emergency telephone number, and they said they would send someone, but they never did. And then 2 hours later, she was dead. I felt a bit angry for a bit because I felt like I was upset that I didn't get to experience like her funeral or say goodbye the way that my cousins in Vietnam got to. Yeah, so that's how I felt about that, but I think I I have made my peace with it in the sense that I do feel like I don't think that just the end of someone's life marks um, the summation of your whole relationship with them, and that I think that what we had was very special. So
I think the Japanese, including my family, live with the knowledge of death. Whenever I visit my parents' hometowns, I feel uncomfortably close to it. My grandparents' houses both have formal guest rooms that has a Buddhist altar on one end and Shinto shrine on the other. And these two things both commemorate the once living. But I think that familiarity with death doesn't numb it. These Buddhist altars and Shinto shrines, I think, are just a reminder of immortality. And so when death is near, we pray to Buddha, we pray to Kami, and then hope that things work out. My dad is currently in Japan, helping my grandfather through his cancer treatment. And yeah, I've been praying every night for the best.
I think about her every day. And I actually just finished taking an introductory Vietnamese class, and I often think about how happy that would have made her. And I think that I definitely want to eventually go back to Vietnam. I talk about it a lot with my parents, but I'm also scared because I think that a lot of my expectations of Vietnam were very much shaped like her by her, and so it's hard to imagine, I guess, going somewhere that was so important to her without her. And because some parts of her were so known to me, but also some parts of her life were so mysterious to me because we couldn't communicate on a super complex level. So, and I think Vietnam sort of feels the same to me because in some ways I feel like I know Vietnam super well just through the culture that I've experienced and the stories I know from my grandmother and my mom and all my relatives. But it also feels very mysterious because I haven't been able to interact with it on a super deep level because I've never been there, and my language skills are very limited.
Family's 家族がアメリカに移住して15年経った今はやっぱり私が知る日本ってほとんどおじいちゃんとおばあちゃんなんで、おじいちゃんには長生きしてほしいし、 日本人であることってどういうことなんだろうってことも最近考えてて、これからも日本人であるアイデンティティだったりコネクションを保ちたいし、それでもやっぱり太平洋を挟んだ無力さだったり虚しさだったりは結構最近感じてます。
ちょいと東京温度よいよい花の都の花の都の真ん中